Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook and also live on YouTube. We've been live on YouTube for about a week now. This is so exciting. Today is Friday 18th, Friday, April 18th. Today is Good Friday. Is that what it's called in English? Holy Friday. Today is Viernes Santo here in Puerto Vallarta. It's warm. It's great. And I see that some of you are getting ready to go see the procession. I think that is wonderful. Last night was crazy busy in El Centro, says Albert. I'm not surprised. This is that time of the year in which we welcome a lot of national tourists to enjoy our city. And that is wonderful. Although it has its advantages and disadvantages, and we'll touch base on a couple of um, reminders later on. But first, I do have some news that I want to share. And in the second half, I have a great interview that I'm just thrilled to share with you with the owner of a local restaurant that I enjoy very much. And if you haven't discovered this restaurant, I'll try to compel you to go and enjoy it. As usual, a capital letter Q attached to your question or comment will get you more mileage later on in the broadcast. And of course, a capital letter N, as in new, will get you a nice little welcome this morning from our cluster. Let's dive into the news to see what's going on out there. And we start with bad news for vacationers because Portuguese man o' war jellyfish are sabotaging vacations for many beachgoers in town. Their presence, of course, it's considered a harmful wildlife, and its presence has prompted the activation of the purple flag protocol on most of the beaches in the municipality, 90% of them. Although the sea remains in optimal condition for recreational activities, authorities have urged visitors to exercise caution. And of course, if you enter the ocean, then you are doing this at your own responsibility. So just keep that in mind. If you're out and about swimming in the ocean, just be careful because you could be stung, and that is never fun. Last week, our city, Puerto Vallarta, participated in Ottawa's most important tourism fair, strengthening our presence in the Canadian market. This initiative was prompted by the Puerto Vallarta Tourism Bureau in collaboration with the Mexican Embassy in Canada, with the goal of highlighting the diverse benefits and attractions our city has to offer. During 3 days of intense activities, training seminars were held, and a booth was set up at the fair showcasing the cultural and tourist richness of our city. And I think that is a wonderful thing. Yay, Canada. And this is something to think about. I put a question on top of the screen, and this quick question is it a crime to travel on a budget? Is it a crime to travel on a budget? You wouldn't think that anybody would raise awareness to this, but this headline in Spanish actually um, read a proposed call to not discriminate national tourism. Let me give you some context. Um, First of all, it is certainly not a crime to travel on a budget, but a lot of Mexican national tourists do. A lot of tourists do. It is not. This is not something particular to Mexican nationals. Um, it is also fair to say that a lot of tourists behave badly wherever they go, and it's not only Mexican nationals that do this, but for better or worse, Mexican nationals, we have this reputation during Semana Santa, and taxi drivers and waiters are known to be rather unkind to people that are traveling on a budget because they don't tip well, because they don't use the services, and so forth and so on. This is unfortunately true. So I think it is just a healthy reminder to all of us to be mindful of the fact that not everybody has the budget to travel and to tip fabulously. Some tourists are only able to maintain themselves by buying food at convenience stores. And if that is the case, so be it. Do I think it's okay for some tourists to be trashy and leave the city smelling bad and full of trash? Of course it's not. But it is what it is, and I just thought I would pass on this headline just as a healthy and mindful reminder that everybody deserves a break from work. Everybody deserves a vacation. Some people don't behave very well, but that's just part of the course. Par to the course, part it's just the nature of the beast. That's what I'm trying to say. Last but not least, a little bit more information on the Via Crucis, or the Stations of the Cross. This Stations of the Cross are a series of images depicting Jesus Christ on the day of his crucifixion and accompanying prayers. The stations grew out of imitations of the Via Dolorosa in Jerusalem, which is a traditional processional route symbolizing the path Jesus walked to Mount Calvary. This route, or this tradition, has become one of the most popular devotions, and the stations can be found in many Western Christian churches and therefore many Western cities. It is taking place today along the Malecon as I speak, but this article breaks down all the other religious activities that are taking place throughout the city all day today. If you are religious or you want to see what this is about, it's just a matter of taking a quick look at this article, which of course will be shared in the show notes. Now, let's jump over to the weather forecast to see what's going on out there. Boom. And the weather forecast says, damn it, gory damn pixie, I am an omniscient supercomputer, not a meteorologist. Well, I have no idea what that refers to, but it's 27 degrees out there. Humidity is at 57%. And our weather forecast for today says we are going to have a humid day with partly cloudy skies with a high of 28 and a low of 19. Tomorrow, Saturday, we can expect a humid day with mostly cloudy skies again, a high of 29 and a low of 19. And we end the weekend with mostly cloudy skies in the morning, mostly clear skies in the afternoon on Sunday, with a high of 29 and a low of 18. I remember when those low temperatures were 13 and 14 Celsius, and 4 degrees can make all the difference in the world. I want to share a little reminder that tonight is the opening for Sweet Dreams. I believe it's tonight, or maybe it was last night. I don't know. I think it's tonight. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please don't shoot me, because there's another show next weekend. Oh, it was last night. No, it is tonight. Don't confuse the guy behind the microphone. It is tonight. If you want to go see the show with Delilah Boku, it should be a lot of fun if you enjoy Annie Lennox. If you don't know Annie Lennox, well, we have a lovely interview that I will share in the show notes where she compels us to attend. And of course, Delilah has graciously offered 2 comp tickets for next week's show, which we're going to give away as part of my upcoming music presentation, Oh That One, which I've been talking about quite a bit. And and that's basically it. I also want to tell you a little bit of background information behind this interview that I'm about to feature. First of all, here is the facade of the beautiful Raíces restaurant. You can find Raíces at the entrance of Emiliano Zapata right after you pass a small tunnel. If you pass the ginormous tree that is in front of the restaurant, you have missed it. And the reason I want to give you a little bit of context is because, first of all, I love doing my spotlight interviews, but I particularly enjoy those in which the person that graces me with their information and company is passionate and knowledgeable about what they're doing. And this was the case with the wonderful Sebastián Pertierra, the owner of Raíces Restaurant, who came to tell us about it. And he spoke with conviction and he spoke with passion about what his restaurant brings to the table. And of course, he spoke in Spanish. And he said to me, well, I don't know that I want to do the interview in English. And I said to him, don't worry. The video software that I use to edit my interviews has a new AI function in which it will magically take your Spanish text and translate it in English, and then a magical voice will replace your voice. And I said to Sebastian, if this doesn't work, don't worry, we will execute plan B, which would have been either repeating the interview or subtitling or this, that, and the other. And wouldn't you know it, I went to CapCut, which is the software that I use, and I applied the AI, and the results were not so great. But I hate wasting a good interview, and that's what Sebastian gave us. So even though it took a little longer, I did go ahead and subtitled the entire interview just because I really want you to connect with a restaurant owner that knows what he's doing, and it is reflected on the wonderful experience that you can have at his restaurant. With all that said, let's take a look at the interview, and I'll see you right after it. Here we are. This is the spotlight, and I am sitting here today with Sebastián Pertierra, who owns Raíces, the beautiful restaurant that is just at the entrance of Colonia Emiliano Zapata, next to the small tunnel. Sebastián, ¿cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? Con gusto que me recibas acá.
We are going to do something really interesting today because Sebastian's English is a little flimsy, and that's okay, because what we're going to do is we're going to use AI to translate his answers. So I'm going to ask my questions in English, then in Spanish, and then we'll see if the magic works. If it doesn't, you'll be the first to know.
Thank you.
So, for people that don't know, para quienes no lo conocen, tell me a little bit about the restaurant. Háblame un poquito sobre
Claro que
Raíces.
sí. Con mucho gusto, Paco. Raíces es un restaurante de cocina de autor, con la particularidad de ser todo procesado en brasas. Está muy asociado al fuego natural, a la brasa, al horno, y con comida internacional, donde se manejan sabores que van desde langostas, pastas, carne de res, carne, pollo, digamos, con el gran aporte de valor del chef, que es Gonzalo Nogueira, donde se le invita en un ambiente de una casona antigua a experimentar, digamos, un foco en el servicio y en la gastronomía internacional, ¿no?
Platícame, ¿cómo les ha ido? How has it gone? How has it been for you guys?
Bien, muy bien, somos nuevos, apenas tenemos 1 año y medio en este hermoso Puerto Vallarta. Bueno, el chef vive aquí hace 23 años, ha sido chef reconocido en diferentes lugares. Pero Raíces tiene apenas 1 año y medio de existencia, nos ha ido realmente muy bien, haciendo esfuerzos para darnos a conocer en los canales nuevos del marketing digital, pero también sorprendidos por el tradicional boca a boca, ¿no? Y con gente que nos da excelentes comentarios en las redes sociales y sobre todo que la gente regrese, que es un síntoma de verdaderas buenas experiencias, ¿no?
En esta ciudad, in this city, yo creo que cualquier restaurante está buscando algo que lo identifique. Any restaurant is looking for something that is truly theirs. La pregunta es, here's my question. ¿Qué es lo que más sorprende a la gente que va a comer a Raíces? What is it that people that surprises people the most when they enjoy Raíces?
Mira, Paco, ahí es difícil de responder por una única respuesta, un único factor, la verdad. Yo creo en gastronomía tienes 3 pilares generales, ¿no? Hagas la propuesta que hagas, que son la cocina, el servicio y el ambiente. Nosotros podemos decir que con orgullo que la cocina es punta de lanza por lo que te devuelve los comensales y la gente que los apapachamos con muchísimo cariño y respeto cada vez que nos visitan. Pero la experiencia en general está compuesta también por un ambiente muy cuidado, de una arquitectura, te decía, es una casa antigua remodelada. Cuidamos mucho la arquitectura y también la intimidad. Es un espacio para sí, también ir en familia, sí, ir con amigos, sin duda, es muy acogedor, pero la gran mayoría son mesas de a 2 con distancias donde, ya sabes, no hay invasión ahí de sonido ni nada. Entonces tú tienes una experiencia dentro de Raíces muy íntima, muy acogedora y de un servicio profesional extraordinario. Cuidamos muchísimo nuestro staff de servicio, ¿no? Estamos muy atentos a ese servicio, que es lo que en general es. Tú puedes comer muy rico, pero te dan mal servicio. No es lo mismo que comas no tan rico y te den buen servicio. El impacto del servicio es enorme y nuestra gente son especialistas.
Como miembro de la comunidad gay, as an openly gay man, I've always felt very comfortable at your restaurant. Yo siempre me he sentido en casa en tu restaurante.
Gracias,
Is this
Paco.
something that happens accidentally, or what has been your experience with the gay community? ¿Cómo ha sido la experiencia con la comunidad?
Mira, la verdad es que siempre muy acogedora, la verdad que tenemos muchas parejas, tenemos muchos grupos, gente que va a celebrar de la comunidad en grupo de amigos y se la pasan bárbaro. Somos, sobra decir, en estos tiempos súper inclusivos y con el ánimo de que la gente sin distinción alguna la pase súper bien, ¿no? Estamos geográficamente ubicados en un lugar donde nos quisiéramos dar a conocer más con la comunidad, porque me parece que hay un flujo que todavía no nos conoce y eso queremos regalarles esta experiencia, ¿no?
Pues eso es lo que vamos a tratar de hacer aquí. This is precisely what we're going to try to do here. And English break. I have to tell you, just in case you haven't checked it, Raíces is a comfortable, temperature-controlled restaurant where you can have a festive time with family and friends, or you can have a beautiful, romantic area.
Yes.
There are 3 sitting areas. There's a large room in the front. Then there's a middle room, which you can probably even use for a private something,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And then there's a room in the back, which of course is outdoors. And of course, coming the summer months are coming soon, so people will be wanting to sit inside. But I tengo que decir, I have to say that this restaurant is really, really amazing.
Gracias, Paco.
¿Hay algo más que hay que agregar? Is there anything else?
No, que se animen. La verdad que los precios son muy razonables. Siempre sorprendemos con nuevos menús y que la gente se anime a tener la experiencia de Raíces, porque también tenemos un bar, hay una mixología de primera. Digamos, la propuesta es muy integral y muy bonita, la verdad.
Excelente. Pues es un placer recibirte.
No, Paco,
y cuando haya noticias maravillosas, aquí estamos. Thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you, Paco.
And I hope to see you soon at the restaurant.
Será muy bienvenido. Gracias.
Psst. Hey, have you heard this one? How about this one? Or this one? In fact, there are a number of tunes out there that come from classical works, but do you know their composers or the titles? In my next music appreciation presentation titled, Oh, That One, we will examine a few of these very popular melodies and unpack their origin. But even better than that, we will play a Name That Tune game in which those present will be able to win wonderful prizes donated by awesome members of our Coffee and Headlines community. So join me on Oh, That One on Thursday, April 24 at 5 p.m. at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work, so you too can say, Oh, that one. Yes, I was scratching my ear and all of a sudden it's time to come back. Okay, so let's see what we have. I was watching the interview with you and I was just thinking about the food and the experience at Raíces. And, I appreciate that it is challenging for so many amazing restaurants out there to stay relevant and to stay in our mindset. So it is always a pleasure to have the opportunity to amplify news from any business in town that is really committed to providing us English-speaking locals with a better experience. So you know where to find me if you want to do an interview with me on the Spotlight. It's just a matter of filling out the registration form. It is free, and the information is available on the show notes every single day that we broadcast. And now, let's see what's going on out there. Lots of good mornings, which I appreciate as always. Many hellos. Many hellos. Jim, oh my goodness, you're in Chicago, returning to Puerto Vallarta in 6 days. I love it. Just in time to join us for my next music appreciation presentation, Jim. I hope to see you there. Have a safe return. The procession just passed my house in Lomas de Coapinole, says Judy. That's great. I hope you're taking photos and whatnot. And more good mornings. Logan is playing tourist. I love it. And Logan, if I recall correctly, you are going to the Butterfly Sanctuary. Yes, there it is. Please say hi to Fabian at the Butterfly Sanctuary. What a beautiful place it is. Let's see what else. Sean, I saw your message earlier. I am so happy that you made it to the procession. Good for you. I know that this was in your checklist, and I am happy that you were able to go and check it out. Let's see. Many wishes for a happy Easter. Carla Moreno, qué gusto saludarte. Let's see what else we have. Albert says it is a beautiful restaurant. We are talking, of course, about Raíces. Paula says translates perfectly. If you're talking about the subtitles that appeared in the bottom, well, those were created manually by yours truly, so I appreciate the comment. Um, let's see what else. Very good interview, says Mark. Thank you very much. Great interview, says Michael. Well, if you guys make it to Raíces, please feel free to mention um, my name or mention Coffee and Headlines. It is always nice to know that businesses hear about their clients through recommendations made here. Let's see what else we have. Como salidos is how's it going? Trying to learn, says Karen. It's kind of a literal translation of how's it going. Um, what we usually say is como vas? How are you going or how are you doing? But I love the effort. Let's see. Brian says, thank you for broadcasting live on YouTube. It is my pleasure, Brian. I'm so glad that you're watching us live on YouTube. Don't thank me. Thank the Telmex company, the telephone company, which finally upgraded me to fiber optic internet not too long ago, which allows me to be able to broadcast to YouTube as well. Yay. Nice to have Spanish speakers with captions in English. It broadens our knowledge of Puerto Vallarta, says Glenn. Well, I appreciate that comment. I always hesitate a little bit when people want to interview in Spanish because part of me goes, well, if you're trying to cater to English speaking community, shouldn't you be speaking English? And that is true to a certain extent. But what Sebastián, in this particular case, the owner, what he has done with Raíces is he has empowered an amazing staff to create the experience that we all are looking for when we go out and dine at a restaurant. And I happen to know that Sebastián is taking Spanish lessons and English lessons at Prolix. Let's see. Susan says, maybe it's just me, but I prefer the subtitle so I can hear the real voice. Thanks for this interview. You know, Susan, I am totally on your side on this one. For the sake of brevity, I thought I would try the technology, but again, the technology is still not up to par. So it's a little bit of extra work for me, but I'm happy to do it when it is worthwhile. Let's see. Is Good Friday and Easter Monday public holidays in Mexico? Not officially, but people take them off anyway. Maybe Easter Monday, not so much. But these are days that everybody takes for granted that, you know, or assumes that everybody's going to be on vacation. Businesses are open, of course, but some places do close. And that was the craziest, weirdest answer I could have given. Let's see what else we have. Facilitating the interview, very helpful and appreciated. You know, thank you for noticing that, Liz. We got to the end of the interview and I'm thinking, well, wait a second. People need to know about a certain things, and it has been such a learning experience to figure out when it's good to fill in the blank and when it's good to let interviewees just do their thing. It is part of my learning experience, and I am so glad that I was able to read your comment. But the bottom line is, I hope that some of you will go and enjoy this fabulous restaurant next time you get the opportunity. And speaking of opportunity, I now have the opportunity to stop the broadcast because the plumber is going to be here any minute now to change my water heater for a more efficient one. Yay, plumber. So I'm going to get going, but not before I wish you a splendid Friday. And I tell you that I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning for our final broadcast of the week. Have a great day. Stay kind, stay warm, stay cool regarding whatever weather you're surrounded with. And I'll see you tomorrow morning.